So my whole thing is, why raise people's spirits when you can just raise demons? Well, I am super hyped to finally be able to jump into the world of the Thaumaturge. When I first saw the trailer to this game and the explanation of what it's going to entail, I got super excited. 20th century. I love that aesthetic of the time, the clothing, the buildings, and everything else. So I'm super amped up to jump into this world. It looks like a beautiful game with a beautiful environment, some great character models as well. And on top of this, story-driven RPG. I started off my gaming sort of career, if you will, or just overall being a gamer by jumping into RPGs. So I'm like, 20th century, RPG, heavy story, great choices matter. Oh, okay. Now you're really getting my interest. And then on top of that, you can summon demons. Well, shit. Okay, game of the year. Let's jump in. So that is exactly what we're going to do. And thank you to Fool's Theory, 11-Bit Studios, and their PR team for the key. I greatly appreciate it. Let's go ahead and dive into the Thaumaturge and see what this game is all about. Let's see if we can raise some hell. Also, I love this. This looks so good. I love the red lighting. The red coloring in general just looks so good here. The character model looks fantastic. The details, the eye movements, the head movements. The book looks awesome. Like very like in a way sort of Necronomicon vibes, which I think is really cool. But yeah, the clothing looks fantastic. The lighting on the clothing. I mean, we haven't even jumped into the game yet, and I'm like, this was pretty damn cool.
Could you spare a moment for me? I'd like to send a telegram.
Of course. Pardon me, sir, but are you feeling all right?
Yes, thank you.
You're not looking your best.
Thank you.
What's your message?
I love that. Are you okay? Like, are you good? Yes. Thank you. You look terrible. Like, you look like shit. Thank you. I guess that would be like the best way of handling that. I mean, what else do you say? Like, thanks? I don't know. By the way, I really liked that. I liked how the cinematic just looked really nice, sounded great. Voiceover was very, very nice. You had it flowing so, like, it had, like, good pacing. It flowed very well, so that way it kept you interested. It gave you information without overdoing it, and now we're just right into engaging with someone fairly quickly, which is awesome. Also, one little detail I saw that I thought was really cool was when this guy was going up the mountain and stuff and going through the dirt, because it was raining, it was muddy, and his feet, there was actual movement where he started to kind of go into the ground a little bit, and then he'd lift up. Like, you could see in the animation work the weight of him trying to get into the mud and then trying to get out of it, that pressure or that pull out of the mud. You could see him kind of sink in. Something small they did not have to do, and I don't think I've ever really seen it in a game like that. But that looked really good. That was a really nice detail there. Let's see. Well, we have map, belongings, thaumaturgy. So O is thaumaturgy. Oh, interesting. They have planned attacks, quick attacks, damage over time, and influences. You could buy upgrades with thaumaturgy points in the development panel. Once acquired, assign the upgrade to an attack to apply its effect. We have strong attack as well. Wow, he's got some bling. Look at this. He's dressed and looking at us like we owe him money. That is something. The brooch, bracelet, the rings, freaking saber right there. Good Lord. So he has eerie intoxication, inflicts damage, restores your health points by 1, which is half of what you've lost. Each subsequent action that restores health points will restore less of it. Bloody Penance inflicts damage. The target's health points determines how much damage the skill inflicts. The more health points, the higher the damage. Liberum Vito reduces focus, removes all negative states, and not of this world, inflicts damage, restores your health points. Okay, so Upir seems to be about not only causing damage, but bringing life back. Oh, okay, those are our attacks. Got it. So those are what we can do to them. We just click on them, and then, oh, that's actually pretty smooth. Just simple there and there. Nice. Very responsive. Let's see, this guy has the most HP, and he's got a knife, so I feel like we should take him out as best as possible. 2 damage. BAM! Uh-oh. Okay. Hey, now. Actions queue. Perception allows you to anticipate the enemy's actions to find out what they are planning. Unfold the actions queue at the top of the screen. Skill speeds. Each skill has its own speed. Slower skills are more powerful but require preparation, bringing the risk of an enemy attacking first. Yeet! To the face! Nice. Oh, and well, good thing I have a beard. Cushion that hit a little bit, you know? Oh, and he's down. You know, for a guy with a book on his hip, man throws some fists.
Right. They won't report us. They'll be too embarrassed to admit some cripple got the better of them.
Oh, did you just call him a cripple? Wow. Rude. Also rude. What the hell?
Why such a crowd?
The circus has come to town.
These are troubled times. Brothers turn against brothers. Russia has had enough bloodshed. The violence must stop. When socialists attempt to divide Russia and her subject nations, to dent the sword that smote the enemy at Grunwald, this demands my decisive action. Thus, by my grace, I hereby appoint as Governor General of Warsaw, Georgi Antonovich Skowon.
Get him. Bleeding. More bleeding. More bleed. God damn it. Quit with the bloodletting. Stop it. Get some help. All right, so I'm going to head and stab you. Go to Bukovac. Attack. Howl. Rude. Also rude. Seriously, super frickin' rude. Yeah, lay down. You jerk. I want to use the new dude. But I got all this status effect on me, man. Alright, let's do it anyway. Reduces focus, removes all negative stats from you and transfers them to an enemy. Oh, nice. Oh, we were doing that. Alright, biggin. It's a creepy fucking bird. It is. But it's on my side, so I don't give a shit. As long as it's on my side, I don't care. You do you, bird. You do you. Get out of here. God damn it. Stop it. There, go down. Quick attack. You're a Pokemon. I am. Like, I'm technically collecting Pokemon, but I've got attacks like a Pokemon, too. It's pretty great. Nice. Oh, this dude is so messed up. Yeah, this dude's hurting. Oh, what the? Oh. Oh. Oh, that's fun. Well, then. Mirana's presence creates malaise and a sense of despair among the residents. The source of those feelings is a painter who bears a flaw. If I can bring it out, Mirana will be mine.
I wonder if you developed it when you tried to kill yourself, or if you had it before. It is your doubt, your resignation, your nihilism.
You started painting the dead?
It's time to free you from it.
I think we could start there.
Can you hear me? Take a step back from him.
What? What are you doing?
They're arresting me, that's what.
What are you arresting him for? Having strange interests? Have you got any proof?
We are arresting the prime suspect. Do not obstruct us.
Tell them what you told me. You are not the killer.
What difference does it make?
Pielevin, you know he's not the one.
What can I do? This case is taking too long anyway.
How are you going to sleep after this?
I'm going to booze it up till I fall asleep. Preferably in moonshine.
And now it starts to rain.
Also, can I add in how whenever you get a salutor or a demon in this game, they get added to the menu screen? I love that. I love those details. Like, I loved it in Cyberpunk whenever they would update the menu screen, depending on what part of the storyline you were in. I love the fact they do that here, too, in a way. Like, that's so cool. And, God, the graphics of this game are so good. The people look fantastic. The demons or the salutors that you command, that you capture, kind of like Pokemon in a way, like, just looks so good. Like, they're so creepy and so interesting, and most of these demons, if not all, are actually inspired by lore from different cultures. So you will actually see specific names you might have heard of and been like, wait, isn't that supposed to be like a demon? Yes, and it's in this game. And if you don't know about thaumaturge, they are basically a person who is gifted with the element of sensing people, sensing emotions, people's true intent, being able to manipulate those emotions, as well as control demons and have the demons serve them and basically fight for them or assist them with whatever they're doing, pretty much. And it's quite interesting. And the combat is turn-based, but it's very good. Like, it feels like a very good system where if it says it's going to do something, it's going to do it. It doesn't feel like it does this like sort of automatic math in the very beginning to just say dictate basically like this is how the fight's going to go. The music is really good. The voiceover's solid. It gets a little weird at times, but thank you, Salutor. But yeah, just like some of the sound effects and stuff and the creature sounds just are really cool.
I have this under control. I know how to give Sophia's story a happy ending.
I hope we don't all come to regret it.
Interesting. Whoa. Oh. Snake Genie Man. Look at this. Almost reminds me of like a djinn in some respects. It's not, but... Oh, that's wild. This is a cool looking salutor. Holy crap. Ow. Dude coming in there trying to cut my wrist with a saber. Ow. La pain. Okay, so this guy has suffering on him, so he's taking damage over time, which is great. We have suffering on this one as well. Catch my fist to your nose, son. Oh. Ow. There you go, get some health back. Now we need to use Lelic so we can get rid of the negative status effects. Bukovac to disable and Bukovac to disable. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let's go ahead and do Lelic on the woman here in the back. Interrupts an enemy's planned action. Removes all negative states from you and transfers it to the enemy. Perfect. Let's do that. Also, Veles, also known as Volos, is a major god of earth, waters, livestock, and the underworld in Slavic paganism. His mythology and powers are similar, though not identical to those among other deities, Odin, Loki, and Hermes. Wow, okay. So, what they're saying in this game, then, is that there are demons, which we know of as demons, or salutors, but then there are also salutors that are more so pushed toward godhood or are considered gods, even though they're not, in this world, not actually gods. They're actually salutors, or, you know, these entities of power or demons, basically. So that's really interesting. That's cool how they did that. I like that. And they really went, like, all out. Which, it makes sense that they're definitely hitting Slavic and, you know, Eastern European and stuff like that because of it being in Poland. And, well, pagan gods were treated like demons, so, you know, yeah, I mean, that's also fair. Well, I think that's why they call them salutors, too. It's like, they're kind of like demons-ish, but they're different at the same time. So, it's like, I've never heard the term salutor before, so that's really interesting, them using that as well. So a little bit of screaming in the ear. Geez, 6 bleed. Oh, ×2. Shit. Yeah, they both have sabers. All right, so I'm done messing with her. I need Bukovac. Let's do Howl. And let's get focus back. So let's do old wounds for 3 focus back. Diversion reduces. Yeah, I don't care about the reduction. Well, we could just... well, she's going to get taken out by status effects anyway, so... Ow. Yep, she's out. Okay, so he's suffering, still taking damage, which is great. Reduces taken damage by 40%. I think I'm going to use Agony on this guy here to get health back. And then Bukovac, I'm going to have you attack this guy so he loses his resistance trait. So Howl on him. A little bit of health back. Trait disabled. Oh, that bleed. Oh, God, that bleed. 6 times 4. Oh. This is where we get risky here. It's like, do we do Upir to get health back, or do we say, screw it, let's get rid of the status effect? Removes all negative states from you and transfers it to the person. Yeah, let's do that, because this guy's going to die anyway from status effect. Yep, he's out. Status effects off me and on him. And back on me again. God damn it. There we go. That guy's out. Nice.
Just wait until Rasputin sees you. Then you'll stop fighting me.
And I can be your
Ladies
daddy.
and gentlemen, as you can see, this evening the souls were particularly restless.
See? This is your inevitable, cruel end.
Hey, Dick, you tried to kill me.
It's approaching. You won't escape it, nor hide from it.
I don't want to die.
It's not up to you. Sometimes you have to accept the blow.
Oh, his arm is jelly.
Give him the command.
Sit. Sit, Ubu, sit.
From now on, you will obey me.
Don't make me rub my book, son. I'll do it. I'm gonna rub my book so good. I will dead mouse the shit out of this book. Don't you make me. We can go fresh face now? What? Naval calm. Wow. Whoa. Mr. Clean. I am Mr. Clean Schultzky. Hello. Oh, yeah. The fidget bubble popper toys. Shaped like pictures. Yeah. That's right.
The way it does look swell. So,
Wow, I went from full beard to mustache to now clean shaven. Look at that. Ooh, we can add more. Let's see, we have torture reduces focus. We can have up to a tier 3, which we don't. I mean, we've never come across a tier 3, but yeah, we can only. No, you can carry all of them. You can have all of them, which is insane. So you can switch to any one of them at any time, unless they're currently in a like waiting status to take an action. Other than that, you can always have them to use, which I love. I think that's such nice flexibility. It's like having a weapon and being able to switch it out. I have a sword, now I have a dagger, now I have a hammer, whatever it may be, which is actually really neat. Interrupts an enemy's planned action. Suffering. So this adds suffering. So reduces focus. Sabotage. Doubles the inflicted damage or lowered focus if your focus is less than 6. Gives 6% chance of slowing the enemy's actions. Speeds up your next action by 1 round. Doubles the inflicted damage or lowered focus. Gives 50% lowering the target's focus by 2. You know what? Actually, that's not bad. Let's do that. And then Torment. Doubles the number of suffering states on all enemies. Oh, wow. On all enemies? Holy crap. Receives damage 3 to 4. Wow. Okay. The other stuff that you get with the Deluxe Edition is this. Let me show it to you here. So first off, you get a 3D print or print model, whatever you want to call it, of the golem in the game that you can capture if you so choose to steal it from Ariel Rolf. And this is what it looks like. It actually looks really cool. So if you have a 3D printer or if you know someone that can 3D print it for you, you can do that. And then from there, you can find someone to paint it for you if you don't want to do it, which I might just do that because this is actually really cool. Again, I really like the game. I love the creature design. Whatever group of people from their team worked on it did an amazing job. And then the people that worked on the animations, everything else, just so good. And each sort of entity or salutor really have their own personalities, and it just works so well. So with this, I'm thinking about getting this printed, and then, maybe Panda will print it for me, or Panda might paint it for me, I should say, because she's the painter of the two of us. But yeah, it looks really cool, actually. So they give you the sort of example JPEGs here of what it'll look like, and then you have the actual I guess, map or blueprint or whatever you want to call it, to actually put it into a piece of software to then print it if you have a 3D printer. So that's pretty cool. And it looks really neat. There's some nice details, but it's not overly detailed. You know, you can only do so much. But yeah, it looks really neat. So that's one of the items you can get in the deluxe content. Besides the cosmetic hair for the face and the head, as well as for the outfit. And then you also get the map that's in the game. So you get the map of Warsaw, 1905. So everything that's in the game is highlighted, and you will be able to see all the places you've been to within the game on the map, as well as some actual images throughout history of these locations in Poland. So the different like POIs that you can go to view the images of the locations, you can get them here. So you could print this out if you want to, put it on your wall, whatever. Use it as a wallpaper for your computer, but it's there. Another neat thing here, actually, is that you get wallpapers. So you get a lot of their different art ideas that they've had, such as the very beginning of the game, this random cabin out in the woods, the home of Victor. We have here Upir and Victor as well. Another image with Bukovac. We have Bukovac and all the other salutors, actually. We have Upir, Velis, and I can't tell who's in the far left top corner there, actually. Is that supposed to be like a sort of version of Krampus? Or the Djinn? Maybe the Djinn. Maybe that's supposed to be the Djinn, I think. But yeah, you have you have a lot of the different salutors that you see in the game that are up top there, so that's pretty cool. And of course, him fingering the book. Yep, that is true. So you get these as well. And then from there, the other thing you get, which is actually really neat, you get notes from the grimoire. And these are actually notes from the devs. So they showcase the artwork and then what inspired the different pieces of art, such as the different creature designs, like Upir. Where did that come from? So now it takes a little bit to load, but it is really neat. So notes from the grimoire, Warsaw 1905. You have an introduction, which breaks down the whole set of the thaumaturge, where it takes place, what are the different elements being utilized, the folklore being utilized. They break down the location and time period, the main character, the protagonist. And then you start getting a breakdown of the salutors, which I really like. I think it's really neat. So, you know, they say he is a trusted companion, always by Victor's side, even when others abandon him. Upir knows our hero all too well, as they had their first spiritual contact when Szulski was not even 10 years old. The Upir Salutor comes from Slavic folklore and resembles a member of Polish nobility of the 16th century. He brings to mind a knight who gave his life for the king or his trusted companions, but whose soul was forsaken on the battlefield. So, and then they even simplified even more. What's the dimension? Heart. Origin, Polish and Hungarian myths. Prowess, dealing damage, disrupting opponents. Where to find? He's closer than you think. Fair enough.
Stop! Who are you?
Sir, it's okay. You're going to get shot and killed anyway. It's not from us.
The Governor General is a little indisposed right now, and I don't think he will get better soon.
Don't come any closer!
Better put it down before anyone gets hurt.
Yeah, see, it's this shit that pisses me off. Because I've been trying to get points for it, and I just have not been able to. I have 2 points, but I need 3 to get to Heart 6, and I just...
You will lay down your weapon.
Nothing.
You don't need it. Is that better?
What is going on? How is that possible? You must be thaumaturges.
Yeah.
Is that a revolution? Are you here to kill me?
No.
That depends on whether we meet resistance.
Not like that.
You will hang for this, thaumaturge.
Will you let me speak?
No.
As you wish.
We have to stop dying at the hands of soldiers and vigilantes. Give them an order.
Stop murdering us.
I don't know what you did to Skawan, but you only made your situation worse. Tell me, why would I agree to anything?
Tell him about the coterie. Use the information regarding Svetlana.
You have no choice.
You're wrong. Even if you kill me, the Great Russia will prevail, and feel repugnance for people like you. If I lose everything, so will you.
We stand before your majesty not as some motley crew, but as a group of thaumaturges united by a pact. We've done the impossible to get here today.
And from that position, we seek to start a dialogue. We believe it will bring mutual benefits.
Do you have a name for it?
You can call us the Coterie.
I will stop the riots and bloodshed, and that's it. Is that clear?
Discreetly focus your thoughts on the need to manipulate the Tsar.
If you believe it'll work out, I'm in. Doctor.
Oh my god, my head.
I don't want to get involved in this. Not after what I've seen. Besides, we lack the fourth person. It just won't work, Victor.
Stop this farce. I demand you release me. I will grant your wish to stop the violence, and no more.
We know there are some decrees on the Tsar's desk awaiting your signature.
And what do you think is in them?
We know the decrees stipulate creating special adjustment clinics, and thaumaturges won't be the only patients there.
Your subjects, so diverse in terms of ethnicity and religion, will surely recognize the threat, and their fear will turn into hatred. The Empire will fall.
The Crown has enough enemies outside without having to deal with internal ones.
Still not enough to convince me, Thaumaturge.
You lack the dimension force or a salutor. Like, no, I don't lack the salutor. I have the salutor, but I haven't been able to, like, I wasn't given the points to invest 7 into heart. You have to have 6 more. And the game literally tells you in the beginning of the game, don't overinvest in one trait. But you literally have to for this ending, and you have to know it at the very beginning of the game, which you wouldn't on your playthrough, which is just annoying.
I have no other choice but to accept it.
There is always a choice. You just need to show your strength. You have to sacrifice someone to help someone else.
Is that it? Can I finally get some champagne?
We could have more success, but still, I have to give you credit.
We couldn't fail. After all, I was here with you.
You're too generous, sir.
Friends, today on the birthday of my son and successor, my father's words show the direction of my thoughts. The voice of God orders us courageously to undertake, in deference to divine intention, the task of ruling, with faith in the strength and rightness of autocratic power. The riots in Warsaw fill our hearts with much sadness, and the nation's grief is also the grief of the Emperor of Russia. And with this grief, I have decided to put an end to the violent attacks on Thaumaturge. They will cease, starting now. That is our wish. However, may those who take my grace for weakness know that the Russian Empire is strong and ruthless against its enemies. So help me God.
I'm happy to see you. You look good. New company.
Friends.
What now?
Point out that he wouldn't be here without you.
First of all, if it wasn't for me, you would still be treating joint pains in exchange for hens, goats, and groats with fat.
And if it wasn't for me, you'd be dead. That's enough. Let's not argue over our claims to fame.
Victor, is everything all right? Is this that Rasputin of yours? I expected something more.
Assalamu alaikum. Would you tell me how you are able to talk with us here?
This must be your new daddy, Victor. Aren't you going to introduce me? And this must be the famous Madame Samira, the identity thief. Wait, I think someone is missing. Oh, right. You were so selfish that you didn't keep your word. And you didn't give him the golem. And he died.
Is he bothering you?
We were just talking.
In that case, I'll go get some champagne.
It was nice to meet you.
I should be going too. Until next time, Viktor Stanislavovich.
Go. Enjoy the evening. Today marks the beginning of a new chapter for all of us.
What did he want from you?
We were talking about not so good old days.
Do you expect he might want to seek revenge?
I don't think so. You can't lie when you're in someone else's head.
So here is the epilogue. The final closure to the thaumaturge.
I can't stand the cold of the snow. There's no use for it.
And the glasses constantly fog up when you come into a warm room.
Then why do you wear them?
After the explosion, I'm having problems with my eyesight.
Now that you wear them, you really are the spitting image of Stanisław. Some tea to warm up?
I won't say no to that. I had a new rumor à propos Scaon. Once we made him aware of a few things, he disappeared, and now they're saying he shot himself.
The Butcher of Warsaw deserved such a fate.
Mercy doesn't cost anything.
The other news is rather grim. There's a new political power on the rise in the city. Besides being resentful of Jews, they also want to get rid of thaumaturges and homosexuals.
What about the Tatars?
Let's ask. They're getting together at a bar in Vola.
So it sounds like they might be setting this up where they're trying to create the thaumaturge as a driving force throughout our history. So it went from dealing with the Russian takeover of parts of Eastern Europe, including Poland, to now the Nazis, which could be really interesting if they set that up for a second game.
Who are they exactly?
Friends of yours from the Anti-Thaumaturge Society. They resurrected themselves like a phoenix. They expanded their ranks to include the dredges from the Socialists.
Let's go. Let's listen to what they have to say at these drinking bouts of theirs.
Is today that special day when you're not preoccupied with your little revolutionary?
Maybe yes, maybe no.
Wait, does that mean that he's dating Wanda?
They won't protect you. Every debt will be repaid, one way or another.
Victor, what are you waiting for?
Doesn't matter. Let's go.
We all know what happens to Rasputin in the end anyway.
They say your choices define your value. What does that make me? The Uper took me on a journey that made me realize how my difficult relationship with my father looked from his point of view, and how I should look at it in hindsight. Ligia and I see each other as often as we can. I do have my duties with the coterie, and she keeps taking up new challenges. Her ambition won't allow her to rest. Not for a moment. Despite the coterie's efforts, the situation in the city is getting worse. Uncle Sasha still works on the force, which entails constant danger. The circumstances of the Warsaw Ochrana chief's death have never been clarified, and hopefully it will stay that way.
All right, Victor. Move on to what's really interesting.
Which is?
Aboritz and Victor remain friends, and together they spread terror throughout the bars of Warsaw. With my charisma and your money.
Fine, Aboritz. I think they got it. That's enough.
But you will come for some booze later, right? Don't forget.
I will. Go now. Warsaw is the way it has always
Nice little
been.
touch.
The people live their own lives, not asking questions or demanding answers. But in the air, you can feel the wind of change coming from the east. Despite the effort, the Flying University has never been legalized. The fate of the president and the students remains unclear. But enough about that. It's time for a new adventure, my friend.
Nice. All right, well, that is the ending to the Thaumaturge, at least one of the endings. This was the good ending, just not the best ending. The best ending required that you had at least 6 or 7 heart in order to really make sure that you are able to get your protection that you want from the Tsar, and make sure that you are able to be set up like officially as the coterie with kind of the Tsar's blessing in a way, I guess, or approval, or at least not disapproval. So again, it wasn't the best ending, but it was the good ending. Unfortunately, the best ending seems impossible to actually get because of the fact that you need such a high level of heart, and I think even deed was another one as well. And it's funny because the game literally tells you in the beginning, do not over-invest into one skill line or skill tree branch or whatever. They literally tell you that. They say, even it out. So I evened it out, and then I feel like I kind of got screwed over, which kind of sucks. But, I mean, overall, outside of that, I like this game. They did a very good job of retelling history and tying in this sort of mystical element or very fantastical element to our history, being the thaumaturges. They've set this game up very nicely for a second installment if it sees the success that it needs in order to progress forward with that. And this time it'll be against Nazis. You can only imagine what the coterie will come up against if that is the case, and what kind of salutors they'll bring in. I love the lore that they brought in, from Slavic lore to Mesopotamian lore and so much more. Their designs of the salutors are fantastic. The animations and the types of attacks are so on point for how that creature looks and moves and everything, that the team that worked on that specifically did an amazing job with that. And the amount of lore and stuff that they pulled to try to make sure that they were as on point as possible to those salutors. So that's very cool. I also love the history and the showcasing of Poland. I think there were a lot of fetch quests, a lot of small quests that after a while, it's like, okay, yes, you're getting the lore, the history of Poland and the westernization of Poland and everything else coming in, but it kind of became a little much at times, where it's just like, okay, now I'm just running back and forth quickly to try to get experience, to get those, those points in, those thaumaturgical points, so I can invest it in the skills. But I think overall, though, you get a good sense of Poland and the history that's happening currently at this stage, because it's so important, the history, because it really impacts or ties into the story so much, right? Knowing the Romanovs, knowing Rasputin, as these are actual people in our history. Also, the taking over of the Russian Empire over Poland, other Eastern European countries, and everything else that happens. And then there's a huge powder keg that happens after all this. So, this is what pushes off the Nazis and the World War and everything else. So there's a big thing that they can really work with, a big event or many events that they can work with if they do a follow-up game, which is very cool and very smart. Also, I really enjoyed the music. For the most part was very good, though I didn't hear a lot of it, but the parts I have heard I've liked, and the environments were very nice. So it's a very good looking game. There are quirks. There are certain weird animations that happen with some of the characters, whether in cinematics or just you running around. Some of the AI have like weird pathing issues or glitches where they're sitting on seats backwards. So it definitely takes you out of the world a bit, because you're like, oh yeah, that's right, I'm playing a game. But overall, though, are they game breaking? No. The only issues I had was as a content creator trying to record and trying to stream the game made it very difficult because there seems to be optimization issues with the game where it will try to take as much of my CPU power as possible, thus freezing OBS. Then when I have to forcefully close OBS, my recording information gets completely corrupted and I can't use it. So a lot of the footage that I have streamed, I've lost because of the optimization issues, and it's fighting for power between it and OBS. So that's been really difficult. So unfortunately, instead of doing a Let's Play, I'm just doing highlights and a review and everything else. So that sucks from a content creator perspective, but from a player perspective, not a big issue. Whatever, you're most likely not going to use OBS for anything anyway, so what does it matter? So as you play through the game, the art is fantastic. Again, the creature design, the salutor design is fantastic. This game hits on political intrigue, it hits on mystery, it hits on cultural tensions, it hits on religion a bit, it hits on so many different factors, even death. When it comes to the father, and then there's a whole scene with the father and the son talking with each other, Victor and Stanislaw, where they're discussing death and everything else, and that when no one remembers you, that's it, you are truly dead. And is that really true? Like, there are some really interesting, points that they try to hit on, whether very, very in depth or just sort of on the facade, but it fits in well, like just on like a skin deep level, but it does fit in with everything else. And it is a well worth conversation to have or to indulge in as the player with these characters. I will say, too, that this game is one of the first games this year where I have laughed genuinely because there was such good wit. They would have these moments where, it got really serious or the tone was getting kind of dark, and then all of a sudden someone would just say something, and it would just make me laugh because it was well-timed, well-placed, and it was a very witty, well-written line. The writing in the game is fantastic. When you read through the different notes and the different feelings attached, it's like poetry, and you just want to indulge in the language because it's written so well. I think really one of the only flaws of the game, besides some of the quirks, some of the minor quirks, would really be just the voiceover. There's some voiceover that's pretty good. There's a lot of voiceover that doesn't feel like it fits. There are so many voiceover actors that just don't have like an Eastern European accent. They are very American or otherwise, and it just feels weird. It feels very, very, very weird. And so it just kind of comes off like, I don't know, like I'm confused on like what the hell's going on, who's from where. Like, are you actually Polish? Because you're saying you're Polish and that you were born in Poland, or that you're Russian and you were born in Russia, or your parents were Russian and you were born in Poland, whatever it might be. And I'm like, I'm not hearing that though. Then again, I do know that some games are just like, okay, well, if they're anything but American, they will all have an English accent, right? Because that's just foreign enough. And then that counts, right? So I guess with this, they just kind of grabbed who they could, which again, voiceover talent can be expensive, and trying to manage it gets expensive as well. So it's like you just get who you can get, who can present the intention as well as they can, right? As close as what you want as possible. But it is weird, though, to be fair. Like, it is fairly weird to hear someone who has like almost a New York accent talking, or very like, I'm from Ohio. Like those kind of accents. Like, it's just very strange for me to hear in a game where people are like speaking like these huge dialogues or monologues, and then they say the Polish names perfectly or the Russian names perfectly, like beautifully. And then it's back to this American accent. It just feels weird. So again, if you're looking to be immersed, it does become difficult from the immersion factor outside of people sitting on chairs backwards or glitching into walls. You just have these like accents that are all over the place. Overall, do I think this is a good game? Yes. If you're looking for a game that has the vibe of Sherlock Holmes mixed with like a Larian Studios style game, mixed with things that are Lovecraftian, I think you'll really like this game. I like it. I like it quite a bit. Would I play it again? Perhaps. Perhaps, because there are plenty of choices that can really change the outcome of things, whether on a smaller scale or the whole game. So the much larger scale, the largest scale you can have, which is the ending of the game. I think that the combat is a lot of fun. I love the combat in this game. I think it's so good. So I really, really appreciate that. I think the lore was so well written and added into here, and I think they've woven this fantastical story with our history so well. So I think there are a lot of things that work very well for it. There are some things that kind of water down the experience, though. Overall, with a 10 out of 10 being completely impossible, I would give this game a 6 out of 10. If it didn't have some of the weird quirks, and if it didn't have some of the weird voiceover, and a few other kind of technical issues that we were running across, I'd probably give it a 7 out of 10. But overall, I think a 6 out of 10 is still very, very strong. I don't want to give this a 5 out of 10. I don't think it deserves that. There was a lot of work put into this for a smaller team. I think a 6 out of 10 is a very, very good, honestly. So I definitely recommend if you're into that and if you're into turn-based action, and even if you're not, like the turn-based fight in fights in this felt very, very good. Honestly, it didn't feel like everything was just predetermined like many other styles of turn-based games that are out there, like say XCOM and stuff, which has been a complaint for many people, that before you even get in the fight, there's an algorithm that has already decided what's going to happen, right? No matter what your choices are. So it feels like you don't have choices. In this game, it feels like you have choices. In this game, if you fail a fight, you can change your tactics and succeed. It really does feel like that. It is based off of how you strategize, off of your choices. So this game does a very good job with choice to an extent. So I definitely do appreciate that. But that is the Thaumaturge. Check it out for yourself. There's also the deluxe content where you can get a 3D print map or blueprint of the golem, which you can then 3D print for yourself. You can also get the map that's in the game of Poland, Warsaw in the early 1900s. You also receive the notes of the grimoire, which is a breakdown from the devs of the character Victor, as well as the salutors and what their inspiration was and everything else. You also get the soundtrack, which is over an hour of music, so that's pretty cool as well. And you also get wallpapers that you can add on to your computer, maybe your phone. But yeah, I think it's very, very cool. Just for like $8 extra US dollars, you can also add that on. Check it out for yourself. There are also in-game cosmetics too. The outfit I was wearing, the red and black outfit, was actually the one you get from the DLC. You can also get a mustache and a new hairstyle. And that was actually another neat thing, by the way, I will throw in. The change in cosmetics, being able to change the look of your character, was pretty neat. I think there was only one instance where someone called me bearded and I didn't have a beard. So, but other than that though, like, I thought it was pretty neat that you could do that. It's just like the small thing is to keep adding value to the game. And I think that was really neat. It was a nice touch. So again, 6 out of 10. Check it out for yourself. It is on Steam. And let me know in the comments your thoughts. What did you think of the game through the playthrough? Or if you've played it, what are your thoughts on it as well? What ending did you get? But thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you in the next video.